So you are going to need a chair today of some kind. I've just got a dining chair because it's really sturdy, but if you've got an office chair, just be aware of it swiveling and could offset you a little bit. So be cautious with moving chairs. So I want to today show you some exercises that you can be doing on the chair, and actually chair yoga I do quite often throughout all my age groups. So I do a senior class with chair yoga, but I also do it with all my groups because it's amazing how we can get into the body when we're actually sat nice and comfortable in a chair position. So let's bring our hands onto our thighs, close your eyes, relax your forehead, and imagine that somebody is pulling you from the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So lifting from the crown of the head to the ceiling, eyes nice and soft, forehead relaxed. Just bring awareness to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils. Our breath is really, really important. It's the key to not only our nervous system, our stress or our relax, but also so many common health issues are caused from bad breathing. So first of all, the most important thing is if you can and you don't have any congestion, your nasal breathing. And then I want us to focus on trying to lengthen our exhales. And sometimes taking a count to the breath can help. So inhaling for 3, and then seeing if you can exhale for 5. When we draw our attention to our breath, it slows our breath down. And that can just be enough to totally reset and have a switch in how we're feeling. And then if we can slow the breath down and breathe less, there's a huge benefit physically and mentally to the body. So the longer you can make those exhales, and the smoother you can make the inhales, so not a sudden gasp, the healthier it is for your body. Nasal breathing all the time when you can. Taking just a few more breaths here. Next time you exhale, soften the tops of shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw. Let's open our eyes. We're going to take a neck stretch to start off with. So bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Now be really cautious here, nice and relaxed. You don't need to be any pressure, you don't need to force anything. And this may feel enough for you. This may feel that you can feel it down the left side of the neck. But if it isn't enough, stretch the left hand out and reach the left fingertips away. And again, thinking about that breath, long and slow on the exhales. Bringing the head back up to vertical, arm in. And it's going to take a little while to release the other way. Drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And often it takes that time. You're kind of, oh, I'm not moving anywhere. And then just it starts to ease, it starts to relax. Feel if you need more. And if you feel like you need more, stretch the right arm out in opposition. Draw the fingertips away, drawing that right shoulder down. But one of the key here is relax. Relax the jaw, relax the neck, no tension. When we're stressed, when we're busy, the shoulders come up, the tension comes into jaw and neck. So just soften here, relax, long exhales. You could keep that count of 5 if it's helping you. Bringing the hand back onto the knee, lifting the neck up. Let's revolve the neck now. So we're going to look and turn the head towards our right shoulder. Think about that length to the neck, crown of the head lifted, chin slightly tucked. And if this feels enough for you, keep it here. Or you may want to stretch the left hand out. And this time, rather than palm facing down, you're going to externally rotate that left arm and left shoulder. So you're going to imagine you're turning your hand anti-clockwise, turning the thumb as far back, and then drop down, flattening the shoulder blade, maybe drawing that left shoulder back a little. Fingertips energizing a little down to the ground. You may even feel this all the way down into the arm, sometimes always into the fingers as well. And then release the hand back onto the thigh, turn the head back to the center, then rotate the head to look towards the left shoulder. Feel into it. Lengthen, lift up from the crown of the head, tucking the chin. And if you want more, the right hand comes up. Right hand's going to turn clockwise this time. And then squeeze that shoulder blade back and flat, drawing the fingertips down to get the stretch, top of neck, side of neck. Nice and relaxed though, don't over push here. Nice long smooth exhales. Release the hand onto the thigh. Turn the neck back. Final kind of neck and head stretch. Link your fingers together, bring them onto the back of your head. Nice and secure. You can even have a nice squeeze of the head here. It can feel good. Imagine you're lifting your head up slightly. You can really press the palm part of your hand right in and lift. And then press the head back into the hands. Tuck the chin, open the chest a little here, drawing the elbows back, crown of the head lifts, and just press and hold. Draw the belly in. Stretching and lengthening the back of the neck, a really good one to do. Every 5 minutes, just take the hands here, stretch and lift up. And we're going to turn this into opening of the shoulders and the upper back. So we're going to open here as much as you can through the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together, keep the head pressing back into the hands, feel the shoulder blades squeeze, and then widen in the shoulder blades and draw the elbows together. So just the upper back if you can and into the shoulders, widening here. Turn to the side so you can see it. Opening, squeezing shoulders, pressing the back of the head into the hands, and then widening in the shoulder blades. If you want to take this and make it a little more dynamic, you could broaden in the chest, maybe lift. You can see a little back bend coming into the upper back here. And then connect with the breath and that long exhale, a rounding sensation, mid-spine now as well as shoulders, if that feels good to you. Let's take 3 more with breath. Inhale, opening, as if you're leaning over the back of your chair, and if you've got a high chair, you may actually be doing so. Great stretch. Exhale to round. And you'll notice the exhale probably feels more comfortable because we're too used to spending too much time in that rounder position, not enough time in this extension. After your 3rd breath, release the hands down by your side. Take a roll of the shoulders. Take an inhale, roll the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, release them down. Really into those long exhales. So the inhale is smooth, but the key to the breath is the long exhale. Slowing the breath count down, calming your nervous system, and making your body healthier, stronger immune system. Taking one more roll. You could close the eyes, go inward. Inhale and a long, slow exhale as you draw it down. Bring your hands onto your thighs. Let's take that cat-cow motion a little bit further down the body. So this time as you inhale, rock your weight a little forward. Imagine you're almost sticking your seat bones out behind you, lifting and broadening in the chest, squeeze the elbows back. And as you exhale, take the biggest round you can, whole of the length of the spine, tucking the pelvis under, tailbone to neck. Inhale, big cat-cows. You can hook the fingers, make them more pressure through the hands. Exhale to round. 3 more here. Inhale and exhale, bringing the whole of the spine, whole of the neck into it. Taking your final one here. So if after every call you did, you'd sat and took a few cat-cows, either hands behind the head or hands on the knees, it would be a great little break. We're going to take some twists now. So we're going to start moving dynamically with the breath, and then we'll have a static hold. So feet a little separate, maybe fist distance between, and I brought my weight forward on my chest. I'm sort of sitting right on the edge of my chair, which means when I revolve, my elbow isn't going to bang into the back. Let's take an inhale, take the hands forward and up, lift them up to the ceiling. As you exhale, you're going to cactus the hands, bringing them down to the side, but you're going to rotate to the right as you do so. Our focus is those long exhales. So inhale, drive the hands up. And as you exhale, revolve to the left, cactusing the hands. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, revolving. Movement to breath. It's vinyasa in yoga. Any movement to breath is vinyasa. We often think of vinyasa practice as a very strong yoga practice, but it can be anything where you move your body to your breath. Focusing on those long exhales, nostril breathing if you can. Taking our final one each side, really think about flattening the shoulder blades and drawing those elbows down as you exhale. Inhaling to the ceiling, and that final exhale, drawing those elbows down. Inhale, hands to the ceiling, and then bringing them prayer position in through the center. A little bit of a deeper twist on the chair. You're going to cross your legs, right leg crossed on top of the left. Then reach that left hand over to the top of the right knee, right hand behind you. Now, hopefully if you've shoved your weight forward a little bit, you've got a nice gap behind you. And you can place that hand onto the seat and then take a nice revolved round to the right. Press against that right knee. Flatten your right shoulder blade. If you want to revolve the neck, you can. And imagine here the spine and the neck, that central column, lifting up as you revolve around it. The legs crossed here is great because it locks the pelvis off. And we're going to take some chest breaths here. I still want really long exhales, but I want you to expand into the ribs as you inhale. And then the longest exhale you can do comfortably in your body, all through the nose. And you might notice in your body as you exhale that you hear a sound, a slight raspy sound at the back of the throat. And you're perhaps beginning to take Ujjayi breath, which is the most common yoga breath. And it's where we restrict the throat a little more at the back and we create more of that sound, which lengthens the exhale, and the vibration is very soothing on the nervous system. So if you are making that sound, see if you can make it a little louder, a little more audible, still through the nose. It's all about the contraction of the back of the throat. Let's come back to the center. Uncross the leg, left leg crosses on top of the right hand reaches over, left hand behind you. Think about that long spine, long neck, lifting up, and then you revolve around that central column. Feel the expanding into the chest as you inhale, and you're trying to lengthen your exhales as long as you can make them. And if you can make that sound, sometimes called ocean breath, and imagine the waves on the shore, that kind of raspy. Other times known as Darth breath, that might give you an idea to the sound. When you're learning the breath, sometimes it helps to imagine the sound if you fogged a mirror, but you're doing that sound with your mouth closed. One of the most researched pranayamas, breath, there is. Huge, scientifically proven benefits. I'm going to try to make the sound as loud as I can, but I think through the AirPods you can't hear it, but on the recording you sometimes can through my other microphone. And let's bring ourselves back to the center. We're going to widen the legs now. So you widen the legs on your chair. All fantastic things to do. Just take 1 or 2 exercises every 10 minutes. Stop what you're doing and take a few stretches. We're going to do another twist, one of my favorite twists on a chair or in a squat position. Bring the hands onto the thighs, tilt the weight forward. Great stretch for the hips, which often need it if you've been sat at the chair a long time. You're going to revolve your right shoulder into the center. Remember our column, we're still spinning around it. And then the left shoulder lifts and turns, and you rotate the neck to look up over that left shoulder. Push into the right hand. You may feel a little groin and a thigh stretch on the right side. We're just trying to get that twist in the chest here. Push into the left hand to get length in the spine. When we take deep twists, sometimes we feel a little restricted with the breath, so focus maybe on that sound we were trying to create and those long exhales. The sound is much easier on your exhale. Creating it on the inhale takes perhaps many months or years of practice, but the exhale often you can hear for it and search for it and make the sound by that little restriction, back of the throat. Let's revolve back to the center. Left shoulder dips in, right shoulder opens. Push into the hands, especially that left hand. You may feel groin, hip, inner thigh stretch, lengthen the spine here. Revolving round that central column. Right shoulder draws back. Then trying to get that ocean sound, Sanskrit Ujjari breath, especially on those exhales, nice and long. And then bring it back to the center. We're going to bring our right forearm, palm facing up, and just rest it onto our right thigh. Sweep the left hand along the floor and lift it up into a side bend. So I'm trying to stack now, shoulder on top of shoulder here, stretching down the left side, reaching that left hand away and up, reaching with the shoulder as well to get as much length as I can here. And if you want to increase the stretch, use the breath. So expand in the ribs with the inhale and keep that smooth sound to your exhale. Sometimes it really helps to imagine a wave on a shoreline. Let's bring this left arm down, bring the left forearm onto the inside of the left thigh, just resting there, palm facing up, sweep the right arm, come into a side stretch on the other side. Reach those right fingertips away, allow that shoulder to lift up. Big expanding inhales. Working the respiratory system, working with your breath is so important. So use those inhales to get stretch there, and then use those smooth exhales to feel the calm, that balance between the two. We're going to start to flow between one side to the other. The inhale here is just a lovely big reach, and then the exhale through the center, nice and slow, and then nice big inhale. And you can make that inhale dynamic with a reach, with energy, and then the exhale soft and relaxed as you float between the two. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling as slow as you can make those exhales, don't forget. Slow the breath down. If I'm faster than you, go slower. Try and keep the breath auditable if you can. One more each side. Finishing your final one, reaching that right hand over to the left. And then coming back to the center and lifting up. Let's take a hamstring stretch now on the chair. So you can stay facing forward. I'm just going to turn so that you can see a little better. I need to sit right forward on my chair, and I'm going to stretch my right leg out and flex the foot up. You can have knees a little wider if that feels more comfortable to you. Hands can either be on either thigh or on one thigh. Think again about a nice straight back, chest nice and lifted, nice and flat in the lower back here, chin tucked, and then lean the weight forward here. Lean until you begin to feel that tug on your right hamstring, back of the right leg. Keep as straight a back as you can, as flat as shoulder blade, nice and broad in the chest for a couple of breaths. Feel how it feels in this right leg with this straight stance. Nice long exhales, audible if you can. And after your next really long, smooth exhale, allow the spine to curve and round. Let the head just be heavy and hang, relax the jaw. Nostril breathing, audible exhales. Notice the difference. In some people's bodies, by rounding the back, you will have an increased stretch to the back of the right leg. To others, perhaps the stretch has come in a little into the back. Be cautious if it has come into your back, don't go too low. For others, it's traveled down a little, now behind the knee, perhaps into the calf. We're all different, so just feel in your body. After your next exhale, lift yourself up. We're going to take a stretch before we do the other side. Bring that right knee, lift it into the chest, clasp the knee, hug it in. So you're squeezing your right knee, squashing the thigh against the belly. And then taking your left hand, hook that right ankle and bring it all the way over the top. Now make sure your ankle bone has gone beyond your left thigh. We're going for our glute stretch, outer hip stretch here. So bring the right hand to the front of the knee, left hand front of the ankle, lift tall. Draw that right knee as open as you can. If perhaps you have tighter hips, or generally men have a little tighter hips, you might find your knees more up here, or if you have naturally very flexible hips, it might be coming right down with no trouble whatsoever. And if you get a strong sensation, just stick wherever you are, whether that's here or here. If you can't yet feel the hip stretch, think about leaning your weight forward and drawing back a little bit into the hands. And that should give you sensation in that right hip. Great stretch to do on the chair, just 2 minutes. Hamstring stretch, glute stretch, in between a cool. Just keeping the body moving. And if you can bring the breath into it as well, if you can take those 2 minutes with a stretch and think, I am going to stretch, but I'm going to breathe as well. I'm going to have long exhales. Try and find that audible sound by restricting the back of the throat a little. And then let's lift up. Let's take the hamstring stretch on the left side. So stretching the left leg out, flexing the foot. We're thinking a long spine to start off with. Feeling that difference in your body. Hands can be one leg, 2 legs, wider, whatever comfortable to you. Bring the weight forward. Feel in your body the back of your left leg now. It may feel different from the right side as well. It's very rare that people are even on both sides. Tight hamstring muscles, so the muscles at the back of the legs, when they're tight, they cause back issues. So these stretches we're doing are very important. And if you run or you cycle, the hamstring muscles tend to shorten. So use your breath while stretching. Long exhales, preferably audible, ocean breath, ujjayi breath. After your next exhale, you're going to take that rounding in the back. Go as low as comfortable to you and just feel the difference. In my body, it's traveled right down to the knee, to the calf. Can't feel it in my back, but I know previous years I've been practicing yoga for decades, and perhaps when I started yoga and I used to run a lot more and do less yoga, this would have gone straight into my back, which is why I cue that. But decades of yoga has lengthened these hamstrings that aren't naturally very long. Long exhales, audible if you can. When you finish your next exhale, let's bring it up. This time drawing the left thigh in, taking a hook, hugging it in here. And then let's take the right hand, hook the ankle, bring it over, make sure that bone goes beyond the thigh. And just again, we're not even. Feel your body. I know this side is higher for me than the other side. I've got less external rotation in this hip. Bring the hand onto the ankle, onto the knee. Lift nice and tall. Perhaps you need to lean forward to get that increased sensation. Perhaps you're here and you don't. Work with your body. Long exhales. Stretching while de-stressing, working with our nervous system. Most of the time, I don't even think most people realize they're stressed or anxious or worried about something or have a deadline or things that we don't realize until we take that moment to stop and breathe. Slowing the breath rate down. Let's lift on up. Let's unhook that leg and bring it down. Going to sweep the arms nice and wide, take an inhale, reach them up to the ceiling, and then you're going to clasp your elbows above your head. I think we've done this one in seated positions. I love it on the chair, a great exercise to go to. So from here, drop the right elbow down to the right. See how that feels in your body. If it feels good, try rolling the body forward. Bringing the left elbow down towards the left side. See how that feels here. You could try rolling forward again. And if this feels really good to you, feels good and juicy to me, you could start to roll open and back. If you've got any sensitivity to your lower back, though, be very cautious with these full circles and just do the half circles. Such a great way to get this mid-spine, thoracic area moving, notoriously tight. Let's change directions if you're doing full circles. Just takes that second to stop. Second to breathe, long exhales. And then when you're ready, release the elbows down. Time is ticking past, so I just want to teach you just a couple of things that you can do off the chair. As you get up maybe to go to the bathroom for a quick break to grab some food, a stretch you can do using the back of your chair. Be really careful if you have a swivel chair here rather than a stable chair. You perhaps want to use forearms. So hopping off the chair, we're going to bring the chair to the top of the mat if you have one or just in front of you. Higher, the back of the chair facing you. So you can imagine you've got up from your desk and you're off. Down dog on the chair. The first way I'm going to teach you is with your forearms. Be careful again if that chair moves. Forearms onto the chair, walk the feet back. You could rest your head on your forearms. The advantage of resting the head on the forearm is that they've got loads of sensitive areas on the forehead, and it feels amazing to massage it out if you're stressed just by rolling the head along the forearms. All those neuroreceptors sending great messages to calm the body down. Then if you want to walk the feet back a little more, taking the head away, you can sink the shoulders down and get a really nice shoulder opener here. Knees either can be a little bent if hamstrings are restricting you, and it also depends on the height of the back of your chair. You should get a good stretch here. And you can use the breath in a different way here, because those exhales, you're thinking about gravity drawing the chest down towards the floor. And then to take the full expression of down dog on a chair, bring the hands onto the back of the chair now and walk the feet back a little further. Be careful again if your chair moves. A little softness to the knees. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling and then melt that chest down. So again, big stretch to shoulders, great stretch to that mid-spine area. And let's take a few breaths here, because you could do this as you walk. You could take just 5 breaths. As you take an inhale, allow the body to round a little, press into the hands. And then those long exhales, imagine that center of your chest melts down towards the ground. As long as you can make those exhales, the better. So if you took 5 breaths like this, it would be a brilliant reset. We're just going to take one more now. Coming back to a little halfway and just begin to walk the legs out. Bend and straighten, one leg and then the other. Walking out. If you want to lift the heels, if that feels good to you, do. A little bit of a wiggle. Next time your right leg bends, keep your right knee bent and have your left leg straight. Imagine melting your belly now and your chest towards that right thigh a little, and then with your left seat bone, imagine it lifting up to the ceiling. So if you can get extra length on the left side, tighten the left thigh, and perhaps you're beginning to feel calf and hamstring stretch again. Long, smooth breaths here. You can use the exhale to deepen into this. Let's switch to the other side. Bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. Lift the right seat bone right up towards the ceiling. You can even dip a little with your left hip. Melt that chest and belly towards the left thigh. Feel the calf, hamstring, everything getting a little stretch. Tighten the right thigh muscle. And then come back to the center. Bend into the knees, bring the hands onto the thighs, press into the feet and come up to standing. So a few ideas there of things that you can do, little breaks on your chair, working into the neck and the upper body, working the thoracic with the twisting and the cat-cows, and then working the shoulders and the whole body with just leaning onto the chair. You don't need any space, hardly any time, and it just keeps you moving. Let's just take a couple of sweeping breaths, feet are hip distance apart, bend into the knees, take an inhale, sweep the hands out to the side, reach them up to the ceiling, smile. And as you exhale, sweep the hands wide and bring them down your side. One more, we're going to leave the hands up at the ceiling. Inhale, sweep them up. Bring them into a prayer position. Bring them down to your heart center. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me on the chair today.